Taoiseach, I'm hoping you and the Minister for Housing will urgently address what I hope is an unintended consequence of a new statutory instrument that was introduced in March of this year, which changed the income assessment of people for social housing. Now, I've been trying to get to the bottom of this because I'm dealing with a family of 8 who have been homeless for 3 years, are in emergency accommodation, are currently in a hotel, are solely dependent now on social welfare, and are being told that they are going to be evicted from emergency accommodation because over the previous 12 months, for a period, the father was working and their income went over the threshold. But now he's lost his job and they are well below the threshold. But a change which said that the assessment was done over the 12 months previous is now going to be the basis for assessing income. This was not the case before. I can't believe the government would actually say that if someone now is below the threshold and could be made homeless because they don't get income support, this is what the government intends. And I want you to look at it as a matter of urgency.
Deputy Boyd Barrett, I think if you can give us the information in relation to that, or to Darragh Ryan, the Minister for Housing, in respect of the family, and I raised the issue with him. There should be flexibility in terms of assessing people for emergency housing accommodation, particularly a family of 8. There should always be flexibility in whatever legislative framework exists. Deputy Kelly, I think the zone land tax is part of the finance bill. It's a substantial part of the finance bill now. And I think in 1 year, a very substantive proposal has emerged in the context of Housing for All, which will make a difference in our view in terms of getting housing developed, getting land developed, again, I think it's probably the most substantive decision that has been taken, a move that has been made in decades in respect of unused land. And I'll relay your views to the Minister for Finance in respect of what you perceive to be deficiencies on water connections. Just to say to deputies more generally, there's a number of work streams flow. The Secretary-General of my department chairs a group of Secretary-Generals in terms of implementation for Housing for All. And every quarter, the targets and progress in relation to the targets will be published. The first quarter has been published, 10 out of the 11 recommendations have been fulfilled. The second quarter will be published in January in terms of much more expansive and more ambitious targets. And there's there are 3 key sections in respect of finance, in terms of what overall finance will be required to deliver the entirety of the plan, both public and private, and the work through of that. Public service. What does it take to get the entire public service on board in respect of delivering Housing for All? And that involves the ESB and Airgrid, and involves Irish Water. There have been meetings already with the chair. There's 3 Secretary-Generals who chaired the different work streams. The other is in terms of capacity, so skills, in terms of training up apprenticeships and so on like that. So there's a fairly significant implementation, and I think Deputy Cleary asked for this as well, in terms of the various work streams that are headed up by a Secretary-General who chairs each work stream, engages with the different state agencies and public authorities, for example, to get a database of land that the Land Development Agency can pursue in respect of getting houses built on land that's not needed either by government department or by government state agencies, so we can get land utilised particularly in urban centres for housing, and so that's something that's already underway. In Euston Station, all that area, there's plans afoot.